that one? Okay. I'm just moving them back a
Moving
little
it back,
bit.
yeah. Well,
And then
I had asked how many people, and they didn't know yet.
oh, there's at least like
Yeah.
20 people in there, and I'm assuming more CBC members might join.
Yeah.
Do you think we could turn on that light just so I could take a picture for everyone and see?
Yeah, I
And then we
can.
could like turn it back off. Yeah.
Can you turn on your light so we can see what it looks like when we're all on?
On top of each other?
Yeah, did I
Is
do
one
it
bit
right?
supposed to go behind?
Is one
You know
supposed to
what I
be behind, or is it like
They're
on
all
top?
supposed to be behind, I think, right?
So this one behind.
So-
Yeah, I think it's this one's supposed to be behind.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Can you take a picture of what your frame looks like? Yeah. Okay, I think we're good.
Thank you. there was actually a couple there should have a slot for that. Yeah.
Dangerous here. Maybe try to have like
Maybe there would be better.
upright. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't think you can see it. Yeah, because otherwise I don't want it to roll off.
Did you pre-crack it? I usually. I don't know. Do you do that?
Well, I think it depends on the person, because sometimes, like, I wouldn't want, you'd like, oh, wait.
You went. Okay.
Like, you might not know if your staff did it or if it was a pre-opened bottle. Yeah, I don't know.
That's why I don't.
Yeah.
But I don't know if other people
Yeah. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it good? Good.
Hello, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hello, can you hear me? Is the test good? For Tasia, for Aaron, hi, testing, testing, testing. We're good?
All right, Vincent, you ready? Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lighting okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody good? Okay.
Should be okay. I think having it higher is better, just because then they won't.
Yeah. Maybe 1, 2, 3. It sounds any different. It might not. Yeah. Whatever. We have both.
Just a heads up. Copy. I believe Jeffries. Jeffries.
That's good. Thank you for that slide.
I think your length was perfect.
And then you all can along the sides of them, scoot in a bit closer. We'll need to be snug.
Jonathan. Take that. Who's first? No. Go ahead. Oh, okay. Well, no, I'm going to do the leader and you, and then I can. The leader's fine.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Congressman Stephen Horsford, representing Nevada's 4th Congressional District. I want to thank Leader Hakeem, Jeffries, and the clergy for their very inspirational and important remarks this morning, and for bringing clarity about this very important moment that we are in. This is not a partisan moment. Putting food on the table isn't about right versus left. It's about right versus wrong. The health care cuts and the SNAP cliff on Saturday are a moral reckoning for our country, and we're all here urging our Republican colleagues to heed it. Now, public service is not about position or prestige. It's about compassion and commitment. I believe that you cannot truly serve the people if you do not love them enough. Love them enough to fight for their health care, to make sure that no family goes hungry, and to ensure that everyone has a safe place to call home. Love is what drives us to expand access to affordable health care, to strengthen food assistance for struggling families, and to invest in housing so that every child can grow up with stability and hope. Love means building a system that lifts people up, not leaves them behind. Because when you love the people, you fight for policies that protect their dignity, their humanity, that reward their work and make life better for every community, not just some. That's how we serve. That's how we lead. And there's no person that is leading this Congress better in listening to the people, learning their needs and lifting up their voices than our Democratic leader, Hakeem Jeffries.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to my good friend, Representative Stephen Horsford, for those very powerful words. And of course, I'm so thankful for Congressman Tim Kennedy, who has joined us as well, and other members of the House Democratic Caucus who were part of this incredibly powerful and important meeting, led by Bishop Barber and joined by so many different distinguished members of the clergy, of different faith traditions, denominations, and backgrounds, but all here today to make clear that fighting for the health care of everyday Americans, for the poor, the sick, and the afflicted, for the least, the lost, and the left behind is not a partisan issue, it's a moral issue. And standing on the side of the health care of everyday Americans is the right place to be. Fighting to make sure that no one in this country, the wealthiest country in the history of the world, should go hungry in America. That's not a partisan issue, it's the right place to be. In every faith tradition, as we will hear. So we're so thankful for their moral leadership, thankful for the moral clarity that they've brought to this issue, thankful for the inspirational wisdom and vision that was imparted to us as members of Congress, standing on the side of the American people. And it helps to continue to fuel our efforts to stay the course. This is not a fight for Democrats or Republicans, it's a fight for the American people. And we're going to stand on the side of the health care of the American people, of the safety of the American people, of the well-being of the American people. And lastly, I'm just appreciative that these distinguished members of the clergy, these great faith leaders, have also brought with them individual Americans who are being impacted by some of the extreme policies that have emerged from the administration and from this Congress this year, who we'll also hear from. And Bishop Barber and these distinguished members of the clergy have reinforced the principle that in America, poverty or hardship is not a choice that people are making. It's as a result of policy violence being visited upon everyday Americans. The largest cut to Medicaid in American history, that's policy violence. Shutting down hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based health centers, that's policy violence. Ripping food away from the mouths of hungry children, seniors, families, women, and veterans, and using them as a political pawn, that's policy violence. And the refusal to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, the unwillingness to find a dime to meet the health care needs of the American people when some folks can find $40 billion to bail out a right-wing dictator in Argentina, that's policy violence. And so I'm just thankful for these great men and women of the clergy, thankful for these patriotic Americans who've come to share their stories with us, and we've heard from folks from West Virginia and North Carolina and other parts of this great country, as you will as well. And now it's just my great honor and privilege to yield to the distinguished bishop who has brought us together. We know he's a voice for the voiceless. He's a mighty man of God. He's a powerful, profound, prophetic, principled pastor, Reverend Bishop Barber.
We come here today to put legs on our prayers. We heard the leader in the fight for health care and the fight against this big, deadly, ugly, destructive bill declare some words that we've used in the movement, that something is wrong when you pray, P-R-A-Y, at the opening of Congress, and then you pass policy violence that prays, P-R-E-Y-S, on the very people that faith tell us ought to be the central concern of government and policies and not the last. We've come here today thinking about and lifting up the 140 million poor and low-wage people in this country, 43% of our nation adults, 51% of our children, 87 million people who are uninsured or underinsured, who already are before these massive cuts that will only make things worse. Today, I want to do three things in the time that we've been allotted. I want to share a little bit about why we came, but first I want to have Reverend Dr. Hannah Broom read just off the numbers from the South only. The South, where we've been holding Moral Mondays in front of senators' offices who voted for this big, deadly, destructive bill, and House members who refused to meet with the people, clergy and impacted people who are carrying caskets, because thousands and thousands of people will die, not as a result of God calling them home, but result of policy violence. And I wanted just to read these numbers so that the media hears the extent of what is going on, broken down, not just a big national number, 16 million, but what's actually happening in states and why clergy and others are standing with impacted people. Then I want to ask the leaders who've come here to just give their name and their denomination. They will talk to you after the press conference. We know we can't stand forever at the press conference, but we want you to know and see the diversity. That when we talk about faith and moral leaders, we're not just talking about black church leaders, we're not just talking about traditional denomination, we're talking about Jewish and Christian and Muslim and people of faith and women and men and diverse groups, predominantly black histories, diverse histories, who are coming together because all of our religious traditions remind us that if we don't stand up for the poor, the least of these, the sick and the uninsured, then everything we claim about faith remains suspect, deeply suspect. So I want them to introduce themselves and say what group they represent so you know who came today to bring with them the impacted people. And then lastly, we have some impacted voices who are the most important voices today. We can't get them all in, so we're actually releasing today a video that was prepared for this meeting. It can go out to the members of the media, we send it to every member of Congress so you can hear the pain and see the faces. It's time that we put a face on these numbers. And we want you to know we did ask Mike Johnson for a meeting. He said he was too busy. We said it was interesting because the government shut down. But we're going to keep coming. We'll keep at it. We'll do it by Zoom. We'll do it. But we are not prophetic voices for any party. We are prophetic voices for the truth and to stand on the side of the least of these. So if those, first of all, powerful religious leaders who are supporting the testifier would you come real quickly and say who you are? Then Hannah's going to take about 30 seconds and read off these numbers from the South. I want to make a statement or two and then have these testifiers, Mr. Leader, to hear, because what you heard in the room, the American public needs to hear. Because if you hear it, you'll understand why the leader and others are not going to turn back on this fight. They're just not. They can't, because it's about real people's lives. Would the leaders just come quickly and share who you are?
Rabbi Esther Letterman, Union for Reform Judaism.
Vashti McKenzie, National Council of Churches.
Bishop Brian Thompson, presiding bishop, Mid-Atlantic Episcopal District, president of the Board of Bishops, AME Zion Church.
Reverend Paul Brandeis Rauschenbusch, president and executive director of Interfaith Alliance.
Reverend Terry Hoard Owens, general minister and president of the Christian Church Disciples of Christ in the United States and Canada.
Reverend Joel Simpson. I'm a pastor in Taylorsville, North Carolina with First United Methodist Church, and I brought some impacted people to share today.
Jonathan.
I'm Reverend Dr. Valerie Washington. I'm the pastor of Hewlett Temple, AME Zion Church, also a professor at Simmons College of Kentucky.
Thank you.
Reverend Todd Urey, Senior Pastor of the Douglas Memorial Community Church in Baltimore and Chair of the Board of Red Letter Christians.
Jonathan Wilson Hartgrove, a Red Letter Christian, a Baptist, a proud evangelical who loves to preach God's good news to the poor.
Reverend Ryan Stess, United Methodist pastor from Louisville, Kentucky.
We come today, and these clergy have said that they wanted to stand with impacted people. As Jonathan said, he's an evangelical. I am true evangelicalism. Did I miss someone? Starts with good news to the poor. There's no such thing as an evangelicalism that turns its face away from the poor and works more on behalf of the greedy than it does on behalf of those who are in need. We come here today because our faith demands it. Jeremiah 22 says that when we come to the places of power, we are supposed to say to leaders, rescue the people from the oppressor's hand. We are supposed to say, don't do any violence or pass policies that will kill and destroy people's lives. And we are supposed to have good news and welcome for the immigrant. Our text that Jews, Christians, and Muslims honor tell us that we must care for the least of these. And the question is not, did we pray? The question is, where were we when people were hungry? Where were we when they were thirsty? Where were we when they were immigrants and strangers? Where were we when they were sick? We are called to have good news to the poor. That word literally means potokos, those who've been made poor by economic policies. We also come here because we are saying America must be who she says she is. And who she says she is a place that is supposed to establish justice, not establish injustice. A place that is supposed to promote the general welfare of all people, not the general hurt of some people. That we are supposed to be a place that provides for the common defense, not just the defense of the lobbyists and the defense of the greedy. We have named this bill the big, bad, deadly, ugly, destructive bill because it does not heal, it hurts, especially poor and low-wage people. We know that 51,000 people, according to studies by Yale and Penn, will die as a result of the impacts of this bill in the first year. And in a moment, I'm going to have Hannah read you some real numbers. We declare, Mr. Leader, that this bill and the actions here are morally indefensible, constitutionally inconsistent, and economically insane, because this bill hurts children. It hurts the disabled. It hurts veterans. It hurts the already sick. It hurts those with chronic diseases, some of the stories of the millions that you will hear in just a moment. And it is wrong, we believe, for every House member, we don't care what party they're in, if you voted for this bill to take from the most vulnerable and transfer more money to the rich than was transferred from the slave to slave masters. If that's what happened, and you as a congressperson get free health care when you get elected, just because you get elected, you get the top-of-the-line health care with no pre-existing condition, and you're able to pass that on to your family. How wrong and immoral it is if you get it and then you don't want the people who elected you to have the same thing. These clergy and impact people are mostly from the South today. Why the South? Because 1/3 of all poor people live in the South. 1/3 of all poor white people live in the South. Wherever you are in the South, over 65% of the people want health care, and yet every House member, a MAGA member, and all but 6 on the Senate side voted for this big, bad, deadly, ugly, destructive bill. And when we try to meet with them and go to their offices for prayer, they put up signs saying this is a private office and refuse to meet. The very place that is the Bible Belt, the very place that claims that we live by faith, the South, where 31% of all the House members come from and over 26 senators, the South that has the highest number of people on Medicaid who need it, the South has the largest contingency of people who are voting against their own people. And so we've come here, we're diverse, because when people are sick and die and they don't have health care, they don't die black, they don't die white, they don't die brown, they die dead. When people don't have food and cannot feed their children don't cry black. They don't cry Jewish. They don't cry Christian. They don't cry Muslim. They don't cry white. They cry pain. They cry hunger. And when people cannot even afford to pay their light bills because they don't make a living wage, when they're in the dark, all of us are black. All of us are in the dark. Lastly, I come here today with two people on my heart, and as these impacted people come, and I come to talk about Portia Gibbs, if I can get through this. Portia Gibbs is a woman in Belhaven that's dead now. She died from the lack of health insurance. She died because at that time North Carolina was a state that had denied Medicaid expansion. Portia was young, in her 40s. We were trying to fight for her hospital to stay open. And it couldn't stay open because of the cuts and the denial of Medicaid expansion, the Affordable Care Act. It closed. Portia had a heart attack, and she died 3 minutes from where that hospital used to be, in a high school parking lot with just her family, her husband. They were Republicans. And he asked me, would I stand with him as they fought in her name for a hospital. He said, I am Republican, but this is wrong. This is wrong. And I got on the back of his truck one day, and we stood together. We became brothers together. And he's now a registered independent and recognized that some issues have nothing to do with party. The last person is Pamela Rush. She lives right near Selma, Montgomery. During COVID, she was worried so bad, Leader Jeffries, she kept saying to us, as a member of the Poor People's Campaign, as a part of Repairers of the Breach, I can't get sick because I don't have health insurance. Alabama would not expand health care. I can't get sick. Pray for me, I can't get sick. I got a call from the hospital that she had finally gone to the hospital. She had stayed away as long as she could because she just didn't know, how can I afford the bill? And she was hoping that the sickness was a cold, a common cold. And so she stayed as long as she could. She took as much NyQuil and Dayquil as she could. She got in the hospital and then they told her she had COVID. She couldn't pull out. She called me from her sick bed. And she said like this, Bishop, you better promise me y'all won't quit. She was one of the first people to come to this Congress and testify in 2019. Promise me that you won't quit. And we did. And she died. 800 people are now dying a day from poverty. When we got to 500 dying a day from COVID, we said it was an epidemic. What is it then when people are dying from policy violence? In her name and in the name of so many others whose voices have now been hushed on this side of glory, and whose voices we must take up, and whose voices we must amplify, who are living now but could be dead because of policy violence if we don't stand up. We come. And we will not retreat, and we will use every nonviolent tool at our disposal to call this nation, this Congress, to stop all of this partisan fighting and get down to the business of the people. Open this government so that you can open up good news to the poor and so that you can establish justice, because anything less is morally indefensible, economically insane, and constitutionally inconsistent. Hear these testifiers as they come. We're going to ask Joel, come on, Hannah, real quick and read those, and then we can't do them all, but we're going to have 2 or 3 that will come, and we want you to hear their stories and then take questions. Hannah?
Okay. From the report of Institute for Policy Studies, this is the increase in uninsured due to changes in Medicaid, and then the next number will be increase in uninsured due to changes in ACA subsidies. Alabama, 18,000 will be increase in uninsured due to changes in Medicaid, 28,000 increase in uninsured due to changes in ACA subsidies. Florida, 65,000 increase in uninsured due to changes in Medicaid, 500,000 increase uninsured due to changes in ACA subsidies.
So right there, we getting a sample of what it's like. Now we want to put some faces on that. We wanted you to hear what's a sample of the numbers. Okay. So we want to ask our dear young man from Taylorsville if he would come, the sister that also testified with him. We want to ask our dear sisters from West Virginia if they would come. Come on in this, or y'all stand together.
Okay.
Thank you. We want you all to hear from these, and they represent so many of us.
My name's Chris Shoemake. I'm from Taylorsville, North Carolina. I rely on SNAP benefits and Medicaid just to make it. We did have a hospital, but it closed down a couple years ago. And then here recently, our urgent care has closed down too. Now we don't have nothing close by. If something was to happen, we'd have to go at least 30 minutes away just to get help. Even if you call 911, that's 30 minutes away. You really can't get much done with that.
Hi, my name is Cassie Coleman. I'm here from Greenville, South Carolina, where I work for 2 small local businesses, and neither of them provide health care. If we don't extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies, the tax credits for people like me, I will go without health insurance.
Hello, my name is Pam Garrison. I've been a minimum wage worker my whole life. I feel like my government is attacking their own people. We make $7.25 an hour. We've went 16, heading toward 20 years with no living wage. Then the programs that would help make up for that, the health care and food stamps, the SNAP programs, they want to take them. I feel like we're under attack. So, thank you.
Hello, my name is Elena Hurley. I'm from West Virginia. I suffer from chronic health issues. One, I'm on life-sustaining medicine, a blood thinner. Without it, I'm a walking time bomb. I can drop at the hat at any moment without any warning, from what put me on the blood thinners to begin with, which was a pulmonary embolism, which is where a clot shoots through your heart and lodges itself in your lung. My Medicaid was cut. Excuse me. I was robbed of my Medicaid. I didn't lose it, because if I did, I'd be able to go out here and find it. So I was robbed of my Medicaid. I spent months playing Russian roulette, some days having my medicine and some days not. I need this medicine to live. Not only have I been robbed of my Medicaid, I've most recently was told that the state of West Virginia will no longer pay my Part B premium, leaving me with costs that I can't afford. My cash benefit income is $640 a month. That's what I get. So I thirst for a moral budget that will serve the needs of all people in society. Please open government back up. We need help. I'm tired of living in pain. and no one should have to live this way.
I'm Joel Simpson. I'm the pastor in Taylorsville, North Carolina, in the United Methodist Church. Chris is one of my members. And as a pastor, I'm a steward of people's stories. And over and over and over again, I've been hearing people's stories in North Carolina as we've been leading Moral Mondays. People who are getting Medicaid cuts or robbery. People whose hospitals are at risk of closing, like Leah, who's in Spruce Pine, after they've been devastated by Hurricane Helene, which came through. Now their hospital's at risk of closing. And her and her husband have been to the hospital 4 times this year, to the ER. And if that hospital closes, they'll have to drive over an hour to Asheville to get any care they need. Her most recent hospital visit was a stroke, which will require ongoing care. And she said, if this hospital closes, we can't afford to go to Asheville, and what will we do? Can we even move? And so these are the stories we're stewarding as clergy. These are the people we know we will have to bury if they do not have this health care access.
Thank you, Congressman. Thank you all for opening.
So again, I want to thank Leader Jeffries for prioritizing his time and allowing other members, including Congressman Tim Kennedy and I, to join, to listen, to learn, and to lift up the stories that you all have heard. And of course, to Bishop Barber and to all of the clergy and faith leaders for being here. I know you will be available for individual interviews following the press conference. It is not lost on me that there is a court hearing happening right now where Democratic attorney generals from across the country are petitioning the court to intervene and to force this administration to release the nearly $5 billion in contingency funding to maintain disbursements to the SNAP program. And so I think it would be appropriate maybe if someone could lead us in prayer for that case and to prick the hearts and the minds of our colleagues to do what's right, not just today, but every day on behalf of the American people. Because when we put the interest of the people over politics, we can't go wrong. So Bishop, if someone could lead us in prayer for that case that's happening right at this time, and then to conclude, I'd appreciate it very much.
As you notice, we try to lift up those on the ground. I'm so thankful for these denominational leaders that push people forward. Here's a clergy who also is being hit by Medicaid expansion. So he's a testifier and a clergy. With all the testifiers, just hold your hand up, those who can, because I hope the media will talk to you. And just hold your hands up that you testified. Just let them know. Would you lead us in prayer for this nation?
Yep.
I trust the Spirit of God.
Holy God of grace and mercy, have mercy on us. God, give us your compassion. Help us see others as whole people, not as problems to be fixed or memes to be swiped left on. May we learn the names of our neighbors, even the ones that live outside. God, we lift up the court hearing that is happening as we are looking at a time when we are holding food over the heads of poor people so that we can take away their health care. God, help us.
Help us, God. Help us.
When the cruelty is the point, when the cruelty is in our face, God, give us your mercy. May your spirit, may your presence, may your protection be with a hurting nation. Hear the cries of your people, God. May we know that all people are your people. All of us under the planet, under the sun, know what it is to suffer. May we stand in all of what we all have to carry, and may we do it together. May we do it with your help. God, give us your mercy. In your holy name. Amen.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you to the bishop and to the clergy and to those who have brought your stories and your voices. We will continue to listen, and with Leader Jeffries, we will lead. Thank you.